Hello, welcome to MTG Pro Tutor. I'm Sean Pernard, your host, and today we're going to open this Cons of Tarkir booster pack and evaluate the cards inside. I'm so excited for this awesome set. I love how powerful it is and how much fun it is. So let's dive in and see what we get. First thing, I take out the marketing card, and then I set the land aside. Then I always look at the rare. We have Temur Ascendancy. That's pretty cool because yesterday we had the Abzan Ascendancy. So the Ascendancies are a cycle of enchantments that only cost the clan colors, and then they have an ability. So let's see what this one does. So this is for Temur, and it is creatures you control have haste. Wow. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Okay, so similar to the Abzan Ascendancy, this is much... Oh, no. Take that back. In contrast to the Abzan Ascendancy, this is much better the earlier you get it. The Abzan Ascendancy gave you +1/+1 counters on each creature you controlled, and so that was much better later on in the game when you had more creatures. This is much better earlier on in the game. You want to have this as soon as possible because you want your creatures to have haste as soon as possible. When you are, in turn 6, 7, and you don't have that many creatures left to play, this is not that great. On turn 3, this is alright. However, this does not affect the board the turn it comes down. It doesn't do anything. You just pay 3 mana, boom, put it into play, and say go. Let's say it's turn 3 and you have all the mana you need. You just say pass turn. Kind of awkward, right? To really get value out of this, you're going to have to start playing, big beefy creatures, getting card draw, and kind of overrunning your opponent. So let's see what else this pack has to offer. I'm not too terribly excited to take Temur Ascendancy first. I'm not too terribly excited to draft Temur Ascendancy at all. So let's see what we got here. Einok Tracker, a 3/3 for 6 mana. Excuse me? What? First strike. Okay, still not good. And we have Morph for 5 mana. So for 5 mana, we can get a 3/3 first strike. I don't know. There's so many other cool things you can do with Morph creatures. Yeah, a 3/3 first strike is... that's going to trade with a lot of creatures, actually. So that's nice to have, but 5 mana, I don't know. Definitely not hard casting this guy for 6. That's... Ugh. Let's see what else we have. So Feat of Resistance. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Nice, because you can save a creature and it keeps a +1/+1 counter. This is great if you are in Abzan, because Abzan wants to get those +1/+1 counters. Abzan is looking for ways to give +1/+1 counters to creatures that can't give it to themselves, such as creatures that have Outlast or things like that. This is a great way to do it. Cancel, we've seen this guy before. One blue to counter target spell. Feed the clan, not so much. I'm not hungry, thank you. So for 2 mana, you gain 5 life, and if you have a creature with 4 or greater, you gain 10 life. Yeah, still, understand, life gain cards don't affect the board. If you're losing, all they do is delay the inevitable. You would much rather have some other card that affects the board than this, okay? And if you're winning, you don't need it, okay, right? Because you're winning. So life gain cards kind of, they separate the boys from the men, I think. Bitter Revelation. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your graveyard. Sorry, 2 of them into your hand. The rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life. Great if you're in Sultai and you want to be putting cards in your deck, in your graveyard for the Delve mechanic. Summit Prowler, 4/3 for 4 mana. 2 red symbols. I mean, you really have to be into red to want this guy. And I don't know if a 4/3 vanilla is exactly, making the cut every time. You know what I'm saying? So, not picking that highly. Sultai Banner. Here we go. It is it taps for green, black, or blue. And you can pay black, green, blue, tap it, sack it to draw a card. So, I am not a fan of the banners so far. I think there's plenty of mana fixing in the land. And on turn 3, I would much rather play a morph creature than a banner, to be honest. Alabaster Corinne, this is pretty decent. I like this. A 2/3 flying vigilance for 4. I think that's pretty good. You can block morph creatures and not worry about dying unless they flip up with 5 or more mana. And flying and vigilance just makes us a really efficient attacker and blocker. So I like Alabaster Corinne so far. Thornwood Falls, so here we go, mana fixing. This is the blue-green refuge, is what they're being called out there. Yeah, because they come into play tap and give you 1 life. Jeskai Wind Scout, I don't know, 1 toughness seems pretty weak for a 3 mana creature. Yes, he has flying and prowess, but prowess really hasn't paid off as as I think it's supposed to so far. Just not getting a lot of triggers off of it, at least in my experience. Here we go, our first uncommon. We have a Mistfire Weaver, which is a 3/1 flying for 4 mana. It does have morph, so you can play it face down for 3 colorless and turn it face up for 2 and blue, so cheaper than its hardcast cost. It does say when Mistfire Weaver is turned face up, target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. So there you go. It can target itself, interestingly enough, because it does not say another target creature. So you can turn it face up to save one of your creatures or save itself, something like that. So that's kind of cool. Watcher of the Roost. We have a 2/1 flying for 3, so similar to this Wind Scout fella. This one has morph though, and the cost to morph it is reveal a white card from your hand, so you don't even need to pay mana, so that's cool. When Watcher of the Roost is turned face up, you gain 2 life. So this is alright. Doesn't really get me all excited though. And Windstorm. Windstorm deals X damage to each creature with flying. So alright in your sideboard, definitely not main decking Windstorm. Man, this pack was not really exciting for me. I'm not going to first pick Windstorm. Watcher of the Roost is alright. I think I like Mistfire Weaver a little better than that. The hexproof seems pretty relevant. Jeskai Wind Scout, not a big fan of either. We could always just take the land. We can always take the mana fixing. It's important. You'll find it's important to get the mana fixing early. If you can pick it up in pack 1 and not fight over it with everybody else in pack 2 and 3, then that's good. So Thornwood Falls is high up on my list. I like Alabaster Corinne as well, and Teamer Ascendancy is nice, but I'm just not going to first pick it, just because it doesn't do anything, and if you don't get it on turn 3, it's terrible. So anyways, I would go with a first pick of, I tend to like getting creatures, so Mistfire Weaver. I think it's neat to be able to give your creatures hexproof. But Thornwood Falls is also high up there, just because this pack seemed pretty weak. But hey, we are all new to this, so please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. What would you first pick from this pack? You've seen the cards in here. What has been your experience? Thank you so much for watching this video today. You're awesome for doing so. Please join the discussion, and let's raise all the knowledge so we can get out there and win more drafts. I'm Sean Penrod, and we'll see you in the next pack.